So first of all, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the introduction. Mic's on. Everybody can see me. I will be moving around because I don't like to stay in one spot. You probably saw that when I was standing over there. My conversation is really around the journey. So I want to take you guys on the journey that we went to from a craft perspective. And it's not just because it's a craft journey. It's really a CPG journey. So I'm going to move around. I'm going to talk to you guys. First of all, I wanted to get my own digital asset out. So I'm going to take a picture. This is my first time doing the keynote speak. So I'm going to tag it. If you have any objections, walk out the room. And I consider that not the usage rights I need. So I'm going to take a quick picture. And I'm going to let everybody know this is the crowd, right? So, and I will tag it. I will say that I did this Thursday, Henry Stewart, Dam, New York. So you guys ready? You excited? Yeah. All right, so first thing I need you to do is say happy birthday to Mr. Peanut. He's celebrating 100 years. Let's get a happy birthday. Yes. Yes, yes. When you think about Mr. Peanut, and you think about companies like Kraft, and you think about companies like Mars, Wrigley, Nestle, we represent, those top 10 CPG companies produce almost 90% of the food that we consume. We have so many rich brands that you just don't even think about. And we all are starting this journey at the same time. We all are recognizing that there's a need for us to focus on how we manage our content. We all are sitting there and we're thinking to ourselves that it used to be easy marketing to you guys. I mean, all I had to do was I created a campaign, I TV, print, radio, and I pushed the content to you. You went to the grocery store. You talked to the store clerk if you had a question about a craft product. I gave them a couple of trade dollars so they happy and tell you that we're the best. And you bought my product. If you had issues, questions, problems, you called me directly. You called my 1-800 number. And then I got savvy and let you email me. But that was how the conversation went. I didn't hear from you. You bought my product. We were good to go. What has changed is you guys now have become the center of the conversation. So it's no longer I'm talking to you and I'm pushing my message to you. The consumers have shifted to the center of the conversation. I still use TV, print, and radio, but it's starting to degrade. I'm starting to not use it as much. You know, it used to be the lion's share of my marketing budget, but now I don't need that to be my lion's share budget. Now I have to focus on digital. I have to really focus on how am I talking to you when it comes to social, because you know what? Every single one of you guys got a phone in your hand, right? And you look at that phone. When you're watching TV, you have your phone nearby. You're connected at all times. And those different channels that you're connected to, I have to be connected to. And I can't be connected to you saying, hey, buy this product. I have to be engaging in a conversation. And it has to be a two-way conversation. It has to be you guys are talking to us or about us, and we're listening. Yes, sounds a little creepy, but we listen. And sometimes when you say the wrong thing or like something real bad about our brands, we talk back to you. I mean, I'm sorry, did you really have a bad problem experience with our mac and cheese? Let us take care of you on that. And you're like, wait a minute, what? I didn't tell you that. We listen. So the way we market to our consumers have tremendously shifted. And when you think about your purchasing pathway, and this is true across CPG, it goes from awareness to evaluation, where you evaluate the product and you're looking to say, does it have the ingredients that I care about? Is it gluten-free? You purchase the product and you decide, am I going to go in the store to purchase it? Am I going to buy it online? You use the product. So when you think about the usage, this is where you we don't want to just say you have one use of our mac and cheese. We want to start off with saying, here's mac and cheese, but hey, if you put a little ground beef in it, it becomes something else special. Put a little onions in it, and it's a little bit more special. So we want to make sure that you guys understand that there's different ways to use our products. And then it's repurchase, coupons. And then there's the advocacy. That's when you guys go telling your friends about our product. And the thing that makes all this important to you guys is that digital assets are at the essence of that story. I can't talk to you with a whole bunch of words. I mean, really, if I sat there and gave you a novel, that's not going to encourage you to buy my product. If you go on Amazon and you're purchasing something and it doesn't have a picture, do you buy it? I don't. It can be less price. It can be $99 for these shoes I want, but it don't have a picture. I'm like, well, they're not sending me a real pair of shoes. I can go to the next one, it's $149, and I'm like, bingo, yes, it's $50 more, but I see that shoe. That's what our consumers are going through. And so we know that digital assets are at the essence of the story. And they live. So when you think about Kraft, we have our websites, our brand sites. We have one of the top 3 recipe sites. And if you haven't been to it, it's craftrecipes.com. I encourage you guys to go there, sign up for our email. Why? Because if you sign up for our email, that's how I get you to repurchase. And I tell you stuff about usage, right? And for all the, I know that OpenText is a Canadian-based company. We have craftcanadarecipes.com as well. So we have it all. But if you look at along this journey, there's assets, there's digital assets, there's videos, there's images, there's our logos. This is where our brands live. And we have to make sure that that content is relevant to our consumers. But we can't do that, right? Why? Because our assets are scattered everywhere. Our agencies have them. Our brand team have them on their laptops, on thumb drives, on hard drives. They're on 5 different systems that don't know how to talk to each other. How can you build a dam to your consumers when the wood's everywhere? How can you do it? You can't. You can't expect to be dynamically reaching your consumers when you are spending more time gathering your assets. And then what do my brand teams, what do my marketing teams do when they're in this situation? They just go buy more wood. That didn't help the situation, right? Oh, you know what? I don't feel like finding that piece. Let me just go purchase it again. Now what you're seeing is companies are starting to be more smart around marketing spend. Back in the day, marketing could just spend whatever they want to spend, how long and how much they want to spend. But companies are starting to get more savvy and saying, we have to be smart on how we spend. So that's another driver, is now the marketing teams are being told, let's be a little smarter about your budget. And now they say, oh, and I'm telling them, well, instead of repaying for these assets, store them here. And then that way you can reinvest in other channels. So we really got to be different in the way we communicate with our marketing organizations, with our brand managers, our agencies. So it's really around making sure that our wood is organized. So when I started this journey, the first thing I did was I didn't go to any technology specialists. I went to the people, and I talked to the people. Word on the street, right? I said, all right, what you guys, what do you need from me? What do you need from a dam? First thing is, what is a dam? That was me. Like, what the hell is a dam, right? I don't know what you're talking about. Digital asset management, I don't need to know this stuff. I tell you, I Googled dam for like 3 to 6 weeks. I Googled dam, and then I found out about metadata. I Googled my whole journey, and I would tell you one thing. We have to improve the knowledge we give people around awareness of the dam, beginning of the dam journey, right? I give shout outs to Wyden that's based out of Madison. They did an outstanding job of teaching me a lot of the things. I would go there, and every white paper I would read had their name at the bottom of it, so they'll call me, you downloaded our paper. So I'm not ready to talk about the technology yet, though. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just reading, I'm learning. And then other people said, hey, I searched Google for my logo, for my product image. And I said, are you out of your mind? I mean, seriously, Google is not trusted. That's not a trusted source. That could be any image that any consumer put up there. That could be somebody's taking a picture of their cracked or their broken boxes, and you just can't Google Kraft. There's distinct differences between the different Kraft logos, even though it looked like a racetrack. One of the old version of Kraft's logo, it was all capitalized. In the new version of Kraft logo, the K is only capitalized. So there's instances where people our brand teams, the people that call themselves brand managers, were Googling for their images. And then I got, you will not be able to implement a dam. And this was the saddest one, right? You wanna know why? Because this was my organization structure. This was my leadership team. You're not gonna be able to be successful. You can't do this. You can't implement a dam. I said, why you say that? And they said, the marketing team's not ready for it. You know, I was in IT, right? The marketing team's not ready for it. And I'm like, well, have we, why do you think that? Maybe we didn't take the right approach. Come to find out, as I Googled my intranet or looked and searched for images, found a business case. Kraft had tried this 3 times before, and her name was on the first time I saw it. And she's now was one of the directors, senior directors of my organization, and she was telling me it wasn't going to happen. Why? Because she couldn't do it. You know why she couldn't do it? Because she took the wrong approach. She brought the technology in first. No, you got to talk to the people first. Next, you got to talk and understand what you currently do, the process, how you create your assets. So if you think about Kraft, we got logos, we got products, we got recipes, we got our creative media, traditional shopper marketing. So we have all these different assets that we create along our journey, and we had to understand how we created those assets. A lot of it's done by our agencies. A lot of it's done within marketing operations. But we had to understand, I had to understand how we created it. And then I had to understand how we was maintaining it. And it was maintained in many different databases. And every single box represent money that I was spending. But since it wasn't coming out the same budget, we had no way of tracking it. So marketing business units would split the cost of, one of these, like, let's work on this, of SGS's tool, Vault. We split the cost. So that $240,000 that it cost, they didn't see all of it. But me looking at it, I'm like, you're spending $240,000 on this software, right? And then I had to look at how we used it. And we had all these different channels that we used it, and then I looked at the flow. Madness, right? So we went back to the back of the board, and my business case was really, I looked in front of some executives and I said, I don't know why you want me to write a business case. And they said, no, you have to write a business case. I said, well, let's before I get to the whole writing this whole letter to you about spending money the right way, how would you find a logo? I would go to the brand manager. I said, okay. How do you think they find a logo? He says, well, I'm quite sure they have somewhere that they go and they have it on their computer. Nah. I said, they go to the agency. I said, what you think if the agency don't have it? Well, if the agency don't have it, we got it somewhere, right? I'm like, no, they Googled it. So that logo that you want in your presentation has been Googled. I said, that's your first part of your business case. Can you just write that down for me and keep it? Because and all the time we was like violating usage rights and we was wasting time gathering assets. We had difficulty finding our assets. Our brand history was lost. I mean, think about it. We were losing Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut been around 100 years. I should be able to show you how he was in the 50s, the 60s, the 40s, because we all had advertising at that time. This is the history that we were losing. That's my business case, right? Hey, we had no incentives to repurpose or reuse our assets. Come on, guys, we got to why not? No common metadata. Whew. I'm gonna tell you right now, metadata is the most important thing. And we had no way, no common language of how we described our assets, not across internally or not to our agencies. So that was a mess. And last but not least, because you can't change the game. You can't change the game. You only can change the way you play it. Michael Jordan didn't change basketball. He just approached it differently. And ultimately, people had to approach it differently, right? So you can't change the game. So then we still got some of the creations, and I told the organization, we have to address some of the areas where we create our assets. And some of those areas were like packaging. Had to change how we created our packaging because, we was buying we had 3 or 4 different companies that was doing product images. We had Quickie, Item Master, all these different companies doing these product images. And then, by the way, it took too long, so we had our agency creating digital renderings. It was broken because there's no process around it, right? At the end of the day, it's not about the technology. It was the people and the process that was broken the most. You put a dam in, now you get everything going to one flow. So I got rid of all those multiple databases. And I'm telling you, those check marks mean in my dam now I have all those assets. So this is what I originally communicated to the organization, and this is where we are now. And now, when I talk to these channels, It's a direct flow from one source. It's a better conversation. And now what I would tell you is, am I done with my journey? No, this is just the beginning. I looked at DAM as how you create, manage, and distribute your digital assets. And I said, well, let's focus on how we manage it first. And then we're gonna build the complete strategy, because we've addressed a couple of how we create. I mean, and we did a little bit around distribution. We distribute to our CMS. But we really gotta look at really addressing a lot of our creation. So, and that's where review and approval within your DAMs come in. That's gonna help and put us in a whole nother level. But it's really around looking at it that simple. How do you create, manage, and distribute your assets? So now that we understand our future state and we implement our future state, we changed the way we play because we improved how we managed our brand assets and equities. The right content at the right time in the hands of the right people so they can use it on the right medium. Confidence in knowing that you have the rights to use the content. That's the most important thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I have it. If I can't use it, then what good, if I don't know if I can use it. I mean, that's the worst thing. It's not that uncertainty, right? It's okay to have it and you're like, can I use it? Let me ask Johnny. Hey, John, can I use that? And they said, I don't know, what you asking me for? And you go to the agency and they're like, I didn't keep that documentation. I didn't know I was supposed to keep that. So then you start going, and then next thing you know, somebody's using an asset and you're spending millions of dollars in litigation. And what you've done then, you've already invested your money that you would spend on a DAM anyway, right there on litigation. It's really around how you enable the delivery of targeted content, and using your content as digital currency. And what I mean by that is you got to look at Walmart and our customers like Target, and we try to have these conversations. We say, I need to know what our customers are buying at the register. And Walmart is so stingy with their data. I'm not giving you my data. So now I come to them and I say, you know what? I know you're trying to invest in your e-commerce strategy. I give you some recipe images to go with the products that we sell you. Now will you give me the data? I changed the conversation, right? Now I can use my digital content as currency. And because now I have the same image and I'm pulling from the same database, I can be consistent across multiple channels. And that brand consistency is what's gonna keep customer and consumer loyalty. It's really around marketing agility. Super Bowl, San Francisco 49ers, Baltimore Ravens, lights went out for 34 minutes. Oreos took the opportunity to tweet, lights out, no worries, you can dunk in the dark. So that means that for 34 minutes when the lights were out, and all these advertisers are freaking out because they spent millions and millions of dollars for commercials, and this is running into their commercial time, right? Oreos is out there winning because people did what when the lights went out? They picked up their devices. They got on their laptops. And so they became a viral conversation around Oreos. It became a viral conversation around whether or not, what am I gonna do in the dark? How did the lights go out? Was it a conspiracy? Did San Francisco do this on purpose? It became that Dressgate. You guys still don't know what color it is, do you? I don't, I'm not even gonna go there, right? Maybe later on, one of our breakout sessions, we'll have a whole debate on this, but this conversation was being had across many boardrooms. I'm not just talking about people at their desks and water coolers. I'm talking about people are in the boardroom and they're having a conversation on what color a dress is. 670,000 people were watching, looking at this image at the same time. Had 16 million hits on black, blue, white, gold, right? And Ty took the opportunity to say, hey, should have used color guard. Genius, right? They didn't tell you go buy a product, they just joined the conversation. M&M's at the Oscars, right? It's about really consumer engagement, brand awareness. So M&M saying that they're at the Oscars, it's not about them saying they're at the Oscars and blah, 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 go buy our brand. It's about saying, hey, what's important to you guys? The conversations that you guys are part of, the message that you're a part of, we're a part of that same message. We watch the same thing you watch. We want to be in the same conversations you're in. Dream it. So I threw this in after yesterday because I went to HBO and they had these wonderful freaking like slides with Games of Thrones and they just intimidated me, right? So I had to throw something different in, right? I said, I gotta up my game just a little bit, right? So I threw this slide in there because I had to put like Mr. Peanut somewhere. I gotta put somebody somewhere. But dreaming, this is the keys to success. You know, you gotta believe in what you're doing, and you gotta really be committed, and is what I would tell you. So I want to go through, and it's really about the brands. So I couldn't show my marketing teams that lines and databases because they don't really care about that, right? They look at me like I'm crazy. But I showed them that it's about their brands. I showed them that if you got your brands over here and you got review and approval, search and retrieval, you're doing your usage rights, then you can meet those mediums that you know. Like they didn't understand the databases, but they understand the icons, right? So this is my communication page to my organization. You have to have focus. You have to have objectives and goals. You have to have an elevator speech. So I had to be able to, you know, if the CEO or the CMO will come to me while I'm in the elevator, I said, I need to know how to talk to that individual. I need to be engaged and say something. So I would go and I said, I need that elevator speech. I'm going to standardize your business process. I'm going to implement a central repository. I'm going to build a migration strategy so all those assets can come into our dam. I'm going to establish a governance model. When you're putting a dam into an organization, the problem is that you got to be the bad guy. You know, you can't be nice. You can't be nice all the time. You can be nice a little bit, right? I'm not telling you to be mean, but you got to be like Batman, right? You got to be that necessary evil. I had to once fire my 5 minutes. Goodness gracious! I had to once fire my executive sponsor. Why? Because he wasn't supporting me. He wasn't actively engaged. And I went into his office and said, he's like, yes, Anthony. I'm like, you're not there for me, man. I need you. He said, what do you mean? I said, I need you to be there. He says, I come to all the steering team meetings. Okay. I said, I need you to be there. I need, when I'm not in a room, you to be telling people why they need to invest in DAM, why they need to believe in what we believe in. And it wasn't that he didn't want to and didn't believe in it. He's just too busy, right? And so next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I had a guy named Peter Porosky, and he was the most phenomenal sponsor. He would go in and help me with my creative, and he'd go tell people, you have to listen to Anthony talk about a DAM. We have to invest in this. It's about brand equities. But last but not least, it's about your brand experience. You got to have a plan. I got to speed up because I got a time pit, but you got to have a plan. You got to know that marketing and IT alignment is critical to your success. Got to know that, right? People don't know where it sits. Is it marketing? Is it IT? Guys, at the end of the day, we have to do it together. That's what digital marketing is. The idea and the technology is great, but the business impact is the transformation. I understand that there's great technology to do great things, but if you don't understand what impact it's going to have to your business, it doesn't matter. There's 4 phases of delivering the DAM. Enable the foundation. That means put something out there. Learn, end user learning. Learn from your organization. Enhance the capabilities based on learning. What I'm basically telling you is eat the elephant one bite at a time, right? Don't think you gotta sit there and swallow it all in. You're not gonna be successful. If you're trying to get it perfect, you're never gonna implement it down. And then once you kind of enhance the capabilities based on key learnings, then you can evolve the system to meet your future demands and your future needs. All right, and this is the end, right? So I got my 10 things I'm gonna tell you before you start. Build a team to focus on business process. You notice I keep saying 2 things: people, process, people, process, people, process. You have to have a team focus on that. Identify and document the current state. You gotta know where you're coming from. Hold agencies and partners accountable. Why? Because they're your producers. Especially from a CPG perspective, they produce most of your content. You gotta hold them accountable, but you also gotta bring them along your journey. You can't make this the last thing you do. Oh, let's talk to the agency now, we got a DAM. No, you gotta make them feel like they're part of that. Technology alone is not the solution. Sorry, it's not. It's just, you know, you gotta, if you don't have the right workflow, the metadata, the people, the process, then the technology is not gonna work. And then what's gonna happen is people are gonna blame technology for failure. Technology is always blamed for failure because people don't understand that you got to focus on the people in the process. Clearly define your success criteria. What's going to make you great? What's going to make you successful? Build an ROI model and measure against it. You got to know how you're going to tell the organization that they're getting a bang for their buck, right? At the end of the day, that's what matters, right? This is what you're doing. This is how many assets you got. This is how many are downloaded, right? This is how much time you're saving. This is how many systems you've eliminated. Build a migration strategy and then double it. Why? Because you didn't have a metadata strategy before. So you got to normalize all that data before it comes in your dam. And when it becomes real, manage new scope. What this means is, you guys heard the phrase, when the stuff hits the fan, right? Things become real. When it becomes real and you put dam in somebody's hands, then they can tell you what they really want. Oh, I needed it to do this, and I needed it to do that. And you're like, whoa, but I sat there for 2 days and talked to you. Just know how to manage that. Put them on a cycle, process. Number 2, you need a metadata strategy to deliver a dam. At the end of the day, before you can do this way before you get your technology in line. Start to understand your organization, understand how you describe your assets, understand the ownership and rights management. And one of the things that you can do before you even have the technology put in place is you can start to build in your contracts the information that you need to get from your agencies. That's a change. That's change management. That's process change before you even worry about a technology. This is how you preserve and retain your assets. Metadata is the most important thing you need to understand about digital asset management. It's everything. And number 1, change management will drive your adoption. Change management is about the people. Where everybody always focus on project management. I'm PMP certified, trust me, I know, right? It's all about process. It's all about scope, budget. It's all about scope, budget, and time. Did I do all that? I hit those check, I'm good, right? Change management is talking to the people. It's understanding how I'm going to empower them to change their behavior and their processes to be successful in the new world. Because when you implement a dam, you're going to change the way people think. You're going to change the way that people behave. You're going to change the way that people work with their coworkers. And you're going to change the way that people work with their partners. You're changing the game for them, right? Not the game for the consumers, because you can't do anything about that. But you're changing how they play from a brand team perspective. So you got to be prepared and focus on that. And that's it. I want to thank you guys for your time. I think I only went over like 1 minute and 30 seconds.